like the relationships, like I know divorce can be messy.
Sure. Yeah.
And any breakups in general, not necessarily divorce. Those things can be messy.
Right.
And if you got like kids involved, it's even tougher a lot of times because, you know, the woman or the man is using that against you. They're fucking after you. So like, I don't know. I just see the way we all are. Yeah. And it just we're able to make it work somehow.
If there's a scenario where it worked on both sides, where you can have some, you know, a relationship, whatever, you know, you want to define that as, with Alicia's ex-husband, you and I obviously have a very healthy friendship and shouldn't by conventional standards. If that can happen twice in one scenario,
I'm just saying
there's something happening there.
Welcome back to Just Weirdly Blended. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Tom.
And I'm sore still. Me and Tom worked out. Was it Thursday? It was Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the third day, it says is usually like the sore.
Yeah. Right, the worst sore.
Which I can believe because my shoulder, for whatever this one, and you know what it is? Because he has this bench thing that you could do either separately. Arm or at the same time on his little get up out there.
Yeah.
And so there was a weight that I couldn't do, but I was able to do it with this arm. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
And so this arm is extra sore.
Yeah.
And I think it's from using that one.
Product placement. I think we're definitely going to get product placement ad campaign here.
Just Weirdly Blended.
Just Weirdly Blended says PowerTech, amazing workout equipment. It's called PowerTech.
I'm all flexing. I know. It's over here.
You see?
Oh, that was weird.
Whoa.
It was like slow motion.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Okay. I just am freaking myself out.
You don't know. I
forgot.
Right.
I forgot that we have it mirrored so that this actually shows up right. So I'm like, I'm not pointing that direction. I am pointing that direction, but my hand and my brain are not connecting this morning.
Oh yeah, and it looks like you're pointing at me.
Yes, I'm doing this. I'm like, wait, no.
Which is funny because the door is over.
The door is it is absolutely correct, but yeah, from what I'm seeing, it's backwards. So
that's why. Anyway. And I was just flexing. And that's why I did that.
Well, and that was going to be my joke too. Is like
where's the beach?
Well, I was telling you before. Like I work out frequently. I am increasing weights and stuff, but my body type, and I know they're like, well, just eat, this and that. And it's like whatever, but I don't bulk up. I just I'm getting stronger, but I don't bulk up. So
I think bulking up is a process. So it's like,
it is.
It takes like years. You know what I mean?
Except for those guys that you look at who are kind of fat, but they're just stocky as hell all the time.
Yeah, that's just their body build.
I know. I'm like, God damn it.
Like I don't have a stocky build.
Mm-hmm. I think you're stockier than I am, though.
I feel stockier.
I'm just like fucking lanky.
But I'm little too. I'm a little fella.
You're a strappy young man.
He's 6'4". Believe it or not, I'm sitting on a couple phone books. I'm 5'1". No, I'm just kidding.
He's just itty bitty, but no, I tell myself, I'm like,
8.
you've got a swimmer's build. I'm designed for the water. For
Michael Phelps over here.
Look at me, I'm Michael Phelps. What am I gonna do? Huh? So yeah, I mean, I can beat anybody out the block in the water, but no.
I can imagine like us acting like we're swimmers.
Oh yeah,
just off the block.
Yeah,
and then you just hit the water like a belly flop.
Seriously, you're not moving. I know.
Oh wait, I can't swim.
I know. Oh wait a minute, I don't know what I'm doing. No, I swim. Like during summer sometimes, like I'll swim in the pool.
That's what I'm getting ready for.
Yeah, me too. Beach bod.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pool time.
Poolside bod, more like it, but
yeah. Just don't look too close at the fine details. Just kind of squint, and the overview is much better than it used to be.
I don't know if I've talked about this on this podcast or off, but there's this mirror in our room that my wife uses to like.
Hold on, where are we going with this?
And I like to watch myself when me and her are intimate. I'm just kidding. But no, it sits by her closet, so she'll use it when she's like getting ready. And so when I work out, it's like directly in front of me.
Yeah. Okay.
And but it's one of those mirrors, and girls out there know if you're listening. There's mirrors out there that make you look different, right?
Sure.
It's kind of like this one kind of like it's very, flattering. Complimenting. Yeah, nice, it's nice. Like damn. But I'll like be stretching, and I'll look, and I'm and this is a distance away, so I'm like, damn. I'm like, babe, look. She's like, you're stupid.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
But I'm legit looking like, I don't know. I can see something deep underneath.
No, seriously, I know. If I just push the layers back.
Yeah.
I've noticed kind of the same thing sometimes, like getting ready in the morning. I'm not as great as I was. Like I was really in the zone there for a while.
Hey, you know what? Nothing wrong with us being more confident.
No, and it's all good. Like I there was a period of time there where I was exercising a lot. I was talking about a lot more here, and it's like I'm kind of glad I'm not too into it. But
yeah,
like I was noticing like some stuff happening in the stomach, right? And I backed off a little bit. So it's like I don't know if that's still there or not, but
it's there.
It's just. A little fluffier, but that's okay.
That's what I was doing. I was like getting a little, I think because I wasn't eating as much, like, not that I'm eating junk. I was
fasting a lot.
Yeah.
And that, that kind of stuff, which, so.
But, I was noticing it was a little thinner, but, I'm good where I'm at.
I'm happy where I'm at. And I think that's where it's like a problem. I'm not fighting for a goal. I'm just kind of keeping it there.
I still have my goal to get under 170.
Yeah.
So I'm still about 4 pounds away from that.
Yeah.
But I'm also not like, I'm not sitting there going
gung ho. Killing yourself trying to get there.
Yeah. But lately I've been like, okay, let's increase things because my goal, like I'm going to set my goal is to like be able to feel pretty confident with my shirt off. Cause I hate going to like the lake or somewhere, and not that we have a lake. I don't know why I even use the lake, the river.
I hate it when we go to the big long lake that we have that runs from the mountains to the
when
ocean.
I go to Lake Superior. I don't know why. Lake was the first body of water that came up
in our adjacent areas. So,
but
not the giant river that's running right through the middle
Columbia
of the
River.
City,
It's not huge or anything.
No,
but but I want to be able to take my shirt off and feel comfortable.
Right. When you're at the lake, you want to feel good.
I'm almost there.
Yeah.
But I also have like a hairy chest.
Yeah.
And that's why like Henry Cavill is my like, if I had a celebrity crush, it'd probably be him.
Okay.
Because he's hairy, but he takes his shirt off and he's not afraid that he's hairy.
Right.
Like, because you ever see buff guys, they're like clean shaved.
Right.
And I'm like, that's fucking
wild. Which looks fine when you are really buff, but when you're just normal, it looks kind of weird. You know, it just doesn't really have the same aura to it.
But I don't hardly ever see buff hairy men.
No.
Right?
They're just born without hair. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
A high muscle density
everything.
And no hair.
They're like, I just want to be able to see every nook and cranny.
Right. I don't want any false shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but he embraces his hair, and it's not like he's like crazy, but I relate to his hairiness.
Sure.
So,
Henry,
I can relate to that hairiness, bruh.
I have what's called pectus. That's just short. I don't know what it's really called. It's some very long word.
I had a friend
and all that means is that your chest kind of dents in. And I'm fortunate. Mine's not horrible. I've seen people with very impacted chests, but it's kind of one of those things like no matter what I do, it's going to be there.
Yeah.
So
I mean, can they even really fix
they
that?
could. It's gnarly. Like they'd have to basically break everything and reset it. I'm like, no thanks.
I will keep the.
Yeah, it's fine. It doesn't like some people. It's so bad it impacts lungs and stuff. Mine's not anywhere near that bad. So it's just just muscularly. It's like you can see it.
Yeah,
so it used to get me down quite a bit when I was younger. Now I'm just like, you know what?
And this is the honest truth. I never really noticed it. Right.
Well, excessive fat kind of helped.
Well, no, like, but that's one of those like things like you could see.
Yeah.
I guess I never noticed it, like until you said something, obviously.
Right.
But like before, I'm
yeah. Well, like I said, 50 to 60 extra pounds of fat kind of helped make it just appear like, oh, it's just titties and a big stomach. So
look at them fat old knockers.
I mean, frankly, it was. Man, yeah.
God, there was going to be a titty thing I was going to talk about that I probably won't. I'll probably talk to you off the air. Okay. I'm respecting Alicia and her work.
Okay.
But it was her work related question.
Oh,
you know what? Fuck it. No,
they work related question.
Not work related, but like.
Oh, I see.
The girls were saying something about like if they can suck their own boob, right? And I was like, I remember when mine were big enough and I could suck mine.
I might still be able to pull it off now, but
they're like, I guess someone was saying they can't. And I'm like, how is that? Like, if you have big boobs, you should be able to flop
she
those.
said she can't.
Not her, but like
right.
Someone
this
at
other
work.
gal, yeah. But she's well endowed in that.
I don't know. I think so.
Yeah, because I would imagine A cups would be pretty difficult.
A cups would be like me trying to suck my own titty. It's not happening.
We all know we've tried, but
unless you have a long neck, then
if the girl were a giraffe
or a long tongue,
she could probably do it.
right. So if she had a long neck and tongue, there's a lot she could do. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, we're keeping it clean.
This is a wholesome family show,
sort of.
Yeah.
Don't have your little kids listening, but no. So that's my goal, is just to get into that where I'm like, I feel good. I know I'm not like, jaw dropping,
right?
Which I don't want that. I wouldn't want that. I just want to be like, I feel good. Like when I take my shirt off, I don't have this gut hanging out. Like I hate, like that's one thing I always felt like when we like swim over here.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like, yeah. But then again, I'm not trying to impress anybody, but I know the gut's big.
No.
Keeps me well afloat.
Blanca found one picture of me from last summer and I was like, oh my God, it was so much worse than I thought. Dude. Some people have I like The Sopranos. James Gandolfini had like the perfect fat body.
Oh yeah, because he was big.
Every part of him was equally fat.
Yeah.
So it was like he had the stomach, but it was perfectly proportioned with the rest of his abdominal fat.
Yeah.
And his arms would bulk up with his body. And every part of it's just like, okay.
Yeah. I get you. There's girls that do the same thing.
Me, it all goes directly to the stomach and like the side fat. And I hadn't, obviously been out there snapping photos of myself just to show that off. And Blanca found one where I was picking fruit from the tree. Oh my God. I was like, no, that was not.
Yeah.
I knew it was bad, but sometimes you just see it in like the true light and it's like, wow.
So when I go to edit our like video, I'll go to all our recordings and I'll see, sometimes I'll scroll past like older recordings of us. And I was telling Alicia this because she's in the room usually when I'm doing this. And you can see it in me, like my face bloats and then I just look more, little more round like a blueberry. Right?
You're like the girl from, what was it?
Willy Wonka.
Just blowing up. Yeah.
No, that's how, and I could see that. And I was like, Jesus. And then I was like, okay, because there would be certain videos I started scrolling through, and I'm like, I know we were bigger then, but like you don't really. Like,
I don't carry it in my face a lot.
Your face has always been like very slender, and your arm.
My arms don't change much.
So you couldn't
really
tell. I couldn't tell.
It's all in here.
Yeah, but you can tell. Like it's the thing too, though.
Right.
Like there was a couple where I'm like, oh, you can see it.
Oh yeah.
And that's how. Like for me, I never know. I don't feel it until I see something.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. I made a little bit of progress.
Well, and honestly, for me, it's like I want to be able to go out and do things, and so the course I was on was like, you're gonna be like 60 and not be able to move.
Yeah,
and I don't want to do that. I want to be able to go out, have fun, hike around, do a bunch of crap. So for me, like I feel 1,000 times better, and I've gotten off track a little bit, but not bad. I'm still like.
You know how to keep it there.
Well, yeah, I mean, like 207 is my lowest I've been in this particular time of, I went from 260 now to 207, and I was the 209 this morning. So like even with having a few more, mess ups, if you want to call them that, like I was very regimented with food. I had all those rules and stuff, and I've definitely broken my rules a bit lately.
Yeah,
and I probably need to be careful with that. Like I'm getting too comfortable with it probably a little bit.
But see, that's the acknowledgement, like acknowledging that, like with anything, you acknowledge like, okay, you're seeing that, hey, okay, I'm starting to mess up. So let's rear this in or reel this in.
Blanca's good at helping me because, it's annoying to hear it at first and you're kind of like, yeah, shut up. But last night, I was kind of making jokes about food and stuff. And she goes, I've noticed that you're starting to kind of, like if you get the idea in your head about food, you get really where you want it, and it can affect your mood again if you don't eat it, like a toddler.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like yeah, she's right. I got to be careful because you start
wanting those foods.
You can go back in the same direction.
Yeah. But as long as you keep telling yourself, we won't.
Yeah, you gotta recognize it.
Kind of like that comedian. You got your dumb side of your brain.
You
just got to trick him.
Yeah, and
that's kind of what it is. You know what I mean?
It really is. You're right. You have to outsmart your dumb side.
Yeah,
it should be really easy, but it can also be very difficult.
Well, no, yeah, because I guess it's like that. Angel and demon on the shoulder.
And demon, yeah.
It's literally like that.
Like, you don't need it, and then the devil's like, well, you already ate it, you fat piece of shit. So I don't know.
What if it's the angel calling us that?
Maybe, yeah. That probably would be.
Oh, you ate that, you little fatty. You remember? I'm not sure that's
maybe instead of being angry with our inner voice that makes us feel bad,
I know.
We should just accept it as an angel.
Yeah, the devil's like, the devil's telling you like this, like
you're perfect the way you are.
You're good. Like, go ahead and have a cookie or 3.
What are arteries? What do they do anyway?
I know, but anyway, I've been there and back. Like I find myself having a little, allowing myself a little more sweets here and there.
Yeah, me too.
So, which I don't mind. But I was noticing at the time that I was like making it a little more comfortable, so I was like, okay, let's pump my brakes. Like I get like sometimes I'll get energy drinks, but I'll get the
healthier one.
Yeah, like no calories, no carbs kind of thing, like sugar free.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, just doing that, my shoulders like, hey.
Yeah.
But still, I think there's probably stuff in there that's not good for you.
Oh, sure.
And so I'm like, okay, I need to stop doing that because I'm not drinking, and so I'm just
right.
And it's not like I'm trying to find something to like replace it.
No, I got you. But life gets pretty boring with just water.
Yeah. And I suck at drinking water.
That's the thing is like I got good at all of it, right? For like this short window, probably like 2 months. There was a period I was doing some kind of exercise 7 days a week. I was drinking a ton of water. I was only drinking tea, not coffee.
Yeah.
There's kind of a point where you're like, all right, I've gotten to this place. I need to start reintroducing some things or else eventually I'm going to be...
Because you're going to crash.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, so I did get to that point. Now,
you can't go 1,000 and not crash. You know what I mean?
Right. But I do still during the week, I have tea in the morning and then I have coffee in the afternoon as kind of a pick me up.
Oh, okay.
The doctors probably be like, that's the worst way to do it. But that's how I do it. So,
actually, yeah, the doctors would say that.
They would be like, "Why are you drinking coffee?"
No, so I don't have my tea till nighttime. That's when I usually drink tea.
Yeah.
I'll have a cup of coffee because I only have a cup of coffee a day.
Yeah.
So in the mornings during work, like at work, or at home or whatever, I'll have my coffee. And then, like, I'll drink because I'm in my 40s now. I'm introducing Metamucil to my diet, so I drink some of that, and then I'll have some water. Like, not really.
Yeah.
Like my water is that Metamucil stuff. And so like...
So you just chew the Metamucil and
I just drink it and I'm done. And then I'll mix it and then I'll drink it. And then I'll drink a little more water just to like help dilute it a little more.
Yeah.
And then that's about the water I drink sometimes. There's been days where that's all I drink or something until until I drink my tea.
Yeah. So I usually drink most of my water when I'm working out. I got that like the big metal jug.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll drink one of those as I'm working out. And like I said, I had been really good about working out, like at least Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
Is kind of where I ended up. And then this last week, it was like, I think Tuesday, Thursday with you were the only 2 days. So I need to get back in the swing of that because
I'm doing 3. As long as I get 3 in, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I don't have specific days.
If I don't keep myself on it, I like to work out when I'm in the habit of doing it and when I feel like the endorphin rush after.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I feel good. But I'm in this weird dip. We've talked about mood before, kind of a going up and down. I feel like I'm kind of in a trough of my physical feeling. Like I'm in that place of I'm not super motivated to work out and I'm not really getting like a huge rush out of it when I'm done. So I need to like make myself do it more, ritualistically to keep myself
Yeah, I get that. I was there where I was like, nah, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't want to.
Because I was doing it like you were saying, like 6-7 days a week.
Right. And I'm not saying I need to do that.
And I can't, just realistically, there's no way I can really maintain that.
Seeing that's the hard part is like,
I know people out there saying, no, you got to believe in your mind, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I got family, kids. If I'm not going to,
let's face it, the smart part of my brain's not that smart. So.
Yeah. I'm just going to work out.
Yeah.
So I've been like, my goal is at least let me get 3 in.
Right.
If they're not at least 2 consecutive, and then like, I'll like have a break,
right?
Just because,
right?
Allow my muscles to rest, and then I'll like have another workout. Right. If I get 4 in, that's even better. But like 3, if I get 3 in, I'm like, okay, cool.
Right.
So
yeah, I'm.
But it did, like when I worked out with you, I was like, oh, see, this is what I needed, like a switch up from what I'm doing.
Yeah, right.
Because like I told you, I just use dumbbells, and it's like.
Okay. Which I get. It's super expensive. Like I wanted to get a heavier set of dumbbells to do, obviously to push myself when it comes to the dumbbells, but God, they're like almost $100 a piece for anything above like 20 pounds. Maybe even at 20 pounds, they're like 70 a piece.
Yeah.
It's insane. And like for weight,
you should have bought all that in one fell swoop.
Chunks of metal. I know. Yeah, seriously.
Was it fell swoop?
One fell swoop.
Yeah.
I thought it was foul. I've always thought it was
one
foul swoop, but it's not. I looked it up. Yeah, Nate Bargatze. Watch his special.
He's pretty funny
and clean. Like you can watch him with the kids. They won't get it.
They won't get it. Yeah, his jokes are pretty good. I like a good punchline, like a good delivery.
I do too. And I'm finding, like we talked about this before, as I'm getting older, I appreciate the clean humor so much more because I'm not really like, I'm a wholesome guy, but I cuss and I joke and I like normal things, right? But it's like you realize at some point, I identify with it more because these guys usually joke about family life and stuff. But it's like, the delivery has to be so good. If you're not relying on any kind of language, you have to really nail the delivery to make it funny.
I think being like a clean comic would be tougher. Just like rappers. There's a clean rap. I mean, there's a lot of them, but like the one that comes to mind, like NF. He's a good rapper, but he's clean. So I feel like that takes a lot of talent.
Yeah,
to be able to like do comedy that way.
Right.
A lot of times you can rely on a motherfucker.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But so I don't mind a little cussing. I hate when it gets a little too much, vulgar.
Like, that's the thing is like pushing the envelope in comedy is usually kind of where the laughs come.
Like if someone's talking and they say a few cuss words here and there, that's fine. But like when it starts getting like, motherfucker, this, this bitch here, and I was fucking this, they like there's comedians where they talk like that, and it's just like okay.
Right.
Just like Andrew Dice Clay. Like I always didn't like him. I don't know if I've watched him. He's stupid. He's trash to me. But then again, I grew up in a different time.
Sure.
So he wore like a Fonzie leather coat on the stage.
Oh, I think
he was like he's like a New York guy.
I know who you're talking about,
I mean, I'm sure he's a legend in his right.
Sure.
But for me, it wasn't my cup.
Yeah, I don't mean to knock any of it because it's like music or anything else. Like there's sort of a continuum of all this stuff, right? And like method and whatever. But I just find it's they're not pushing any envelope. It's not pushing you to the point of like, oh, he shouldn't have said that. Like. A lot of comedy is like we say things, or not we, I'm not a comic, but comics say things that shouldn't be said. It makes you feel like uncomfortable enough that it's like the humor comes out of it.
They can bring to light.
They're not really doing that. They're taking the mundaneness of life and pointing out either absurdity or just like connecting with you in some way where it's
because it's relatable
all the time. It's like the relatable humor.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's really Jim Gaffigan's good at it.
Yeah, I haven't seen his in a while.
I haven't seen his in a while either, but I think I've watched all of them that he's come out with. And we saw him. Were you with us?
No.
We went to Yakima and saw him live. I love Jim Gaffigan. He's great, but live, I mean, it's kind of the same thing as what you see on TV. There's not a lot of like play outside of it.
Yeah, that's on like we went and saw Kevin Hart. And the cool thing was like we went to that show. They actually took your phone and then they put it in this like pouch
so that you couldn't record or anything.
Yeah, because he was recording new material.
Oh, okay.
Which was nice because I've gone to like a comedy show where it's like I've seen their special.
Yeah, right.
And so then that's what I'm watching.
It's pretty much the same thing, just
so
live.
It's like
yeah.
It's don't get me wrong, it's funny, but a lot of times that first time's like
exactly. Like I'm not knocking Jim Gaffigan at all.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
He's a nice guy, and like I love his comedy. But yeah, seeing him live was very different. Like when we went and saw Gabriel Iglesias, it's like
he went off script a few times,
all the time.
Yeah,
I mean, he would tell his like little joke, and then it's like he was bored telling the stuff he always tells. So he just was like razzing the audience, and the entire time was interplay.
Yeah,
like everything.
Joe Coy was like,
Joe Coy was pretty similar. I mean, but Gabriel Iglesias did it. I've never seen something like it. He did it the entire time, and then he gave us an extra hour.
That was cool.
Flat out stayed there an extra hour.
It didn't seem like it.
No, and he like even joked like, you can't even be mad. You don't like it.
Yeah, if you don't like it, I gave you a free hour.
But I mean, it was just I've never seen something like that happen. It was.
But I think he had a good audience too that night.
He did. Wasn't he the one?
We have a lot of Hispanics here in the Tri-Cities. We have a pretty hard
kids, right? Like sitting alone in the front, and he was like, "Yeah, nice job, parents." And He looks out and sees, and
he's a pretty clean comic for the most part.
He's not bad. I mean, but he says some things.
See, that's what I like. I don't mind that, like that Anthony Jeselnik. Or I probably fucked his name up, but he's hilarious because he cusses, but he's also it's just. I think he probably talks that way in life.
Yeah.
He's not adding to it. It's just
that's kind of how like Mike Birbiglia is.
It just feels natural.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but his stuff, like I had you guys listen to a couple things, but like his clips are hilarious because he'll say some shit that's it's like out here, and then he somehow ties it back. Mm-hmm. Like it's pretty smart comedy, I think.
Yeah. The circling back thing, that's the guy that you mentioned him last night. He won that comic,
the Josh Blue.
Yes, he
Last
has
comic standing.
I love when
he's fucking
when he
hilarious.
does you remember that, and then, like he always does it like he just tells a joke, and then he waits just long enough, and then I'll be like, you remember? It's like the way he says it.
He's
so
hilarious.
Funny. And he does. I think he probably does some unclean stuff, but it's not overdoing it. It's not relying on it, and
dropping the F word a Dan here. That's okay.
Plenty of comics that are dirty comics that I find hysterical. And I think it's totally fine.
Eddie Murphy's, he's kind of
especially younger,
but he's hilarious.
But he's funny, and like I get it too. Like it's just obviously he's very successul, and I'm fine with it. But it's like I think for a long time that was kind of the thing, and it maybe has run its course to a point.
Yeah, it could be.
Like I mean, at some point, like, it's kind of like music. The music's, I think maybe we're even rounding away from that a little bit, but like you get to a point when you have a song WAP, it's like, how much farther can we push this? It gets to the point. It's like, don't you get kind of over inundated in it? And then
it's funny you bring that because it made me think about like comedy and music in a way can be similar because like the way they deliver things, right?
Yeah, right.
Like there's like Eminem's really good about it. He's very smart with his words.
Yes.
Like he plays on words. And so comedy, they kind of can do that.
Same thing.
You
weave a tapestry.
You're like, dude, that was a smart ass joke. Like that was, like there was double meaning there.
Yeah. Right.
And that's like rap's the same way. And so when I look at comedy, like for me, music's the same because it's like, I don't like the vulgar rap.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't either.
But I like smart rap, like Eminem or Kendrick or some of these ones that are very lyrical. Yeah, they cuss, but it's like
but like
there's meaning behind it. There's something.
I always call it lyrically driven because it's like the momentum of the song is carried by the message, not by just some like I was working out like, to hip hop, and I don't. Wet ass. I mean, I didn't really grow up with rap or anything, so I don't. I didn't like
we were working
it
out
for
to
a long time.
Some rap when we were here.
I've been working out, and working out, you can't really work out to like the Beach Boys or something. So
Yeah.
I pulled Rap Up, and I don't like
obviously
the Beach Boys. I knew of Eminem. I knew of Dr. Dre.
Yeah,
I know their songs and stuff. So, but I started listening to it while I was working out, and actually starting to listen to it. But for a while, I was listening to this list. It was like Real Men's Rap or something.
Yeah.
But man, some of the songs. This one guy just repeated like the N-word over and over again.
See, like,
and I'm like, I get that you get to do that, but listening to it isn't.
Well, even
it's like
to other,
it's just I don't know.
I think there's some rap where it's just like, okay, you're going for the like maybe the beat.
Well, that's
it's like upbeat, or it's like a dancey.
Only repetitive over and over. There was no real message to it. It was like, yeah, it had a good beat, but the lyrics, there's nothing.
See, and I have to have lyrics, like I get. And this is not a knock to like some of the newer stuff, because there's new rappers that I listen to, but they're lyrical, which is kind of nice, because that at one point was like kind of, I think, disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'd get all these like crappy music,
it's almost
like ratchet ass music,
pop rap, right?
Yeah, like, you would get like what's his name, Tekashi 6ix9ine. His song, he sucks, right, to me. Like, great, like his music, 2-minute song, and it's like stupid, and I get it. Because it's, when you hear the beat and stuff, I can see why it's, why people love it, and I get it. And because there is some songs, not of his, but like that I've heard that I'm like, oh, this is nice. Because I'll be if I'm running or something.
Yeah, it's got the rhythm to it.
If it somehow came on my playlist, it'd be shocking. But like I've heard it where it's like, okay, I can work out.
Sure.
But like the lyrical stuff, like you said, you got to listen to it. There's a message. It's like
right.
But then there's also the stuff where it's like, this is a good beat to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. Like I've been listening to the Dr. Dre, which it doesn't just stick to Dr. Dre. It's kind of like his aura of people that work with him that he's produced. But I mean, the beats are always good, first of all, and then you get the lyrics on top of it, and especially Eminem. Eminem is so lyrically driven, and his entendre use and just, I mean, it's like the way he, growing up here, being in Washington and having watched Intervention, there's that song where one of his lines talks about like Russell Wilson, and then he talks about, I need an interventionist. And
I know what song you're talking about.
And it's like, and it brings up this guy, Jeff Van Vondren, who is one of the guys on Intervention that would do the interventions. And I'm like, I have nothing in common with him. And he took Russell Wilson that I know, and he took the show I know, and he made a reference that I completely understand.
Yeah. That's one of his it's like a not newer song, but within the last I'll say 5 years. It's a song that came
relatively
out.
new, right? Because I mean, obviously, it was within the time frame where Russell Wilson was here and did a good job.
Yeah,
and oh, by the way, Sean Payton, is he actually going to go coach? I read something that he's going to coach Denver.
He's going to Denver
for sure.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, because I saw him in the broadcasting booth and he didn't look super comfortable yet.
I think what's going to happen is, because he's like a quarterback type coach, like Drew Brees and Drew Brees, and I feel like Russell Wilson have a similar.
Well, what I saw was like he said he was excited to coach Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
and I know a lot of people shit on Russell Wilson, and
he was pretty bad.
It was hard. When every story you read was like, oh, he's just into himself and he doesn't care. And like, I don't know. I watched him play for years, and that wasn't the Russell Wilson that I think we saw in Seattle.
I think the last couple years you could see it, like he didn't want to be in Seattle.
Yeah,
like the way he'd play, you can tell like there's something changed about him. But then, he is older.
He's older. And that's the thing.
People figure him out, so he can't play that way.
Well, he can't. I mean, let's face it. You get older, you slow down a little bit. Like, you can't quite make the moves that maybe you did when you were a little younger.
In that split second, that's all it takes.
It's a big deal.
Oh, yeah. Right. Like, someone will jump the ball and, boom, you threw it to the wrong team.
But, man, I don't know. I'm excited. I hope it works out for him, because generally speaking, I thought Russell Wilson had a strong work ethic, and I thought he showed a lot of character in Seattle. So, it was kind of, I don't know. It was shitty last
year. It was interesting. I think Sean Payton's a good coach. Obviously, he's a Super Bowl winning coach. So
if that's a legit story, I didn't really look into it.
No, you're right. There was a big thing about that.
So, yeah. Anyway.
But I was thinking, he's like, yeah, what else to talk about? So I had an interesting day yesterday. So I love like birria. It's like a style of Mexican food. I've always liked it. It's one of those guilty pleasures. It's like a food, like it's one of my favorites, but I don't really have it often.
Yeah.
Because
like,
I
want turkey on Thanksgiving.
Because I want to keep it that way, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to like overdo it where I'm like, okay, this is fucking.
It's my Arby's holiday meal.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So I was like in the morning, I was like, so this is going to tie into a couple things. So this story will tie into a million different ways.
You're like a comic,
like a rapper,
or a rapper over
I'm a podcast rapper.
Look at you. You're a podcaster.
I just don't know how to do any of that stuff. But
I can't either. But anyway.
But yeah, so I'm sitting on the couch and I was like, oh man, babe, you should make some birria, you should make some. She's like, yeah? I'm like, yeah. And I said it jokingly, like I wasn't.
In case she was like,
well, not even. I was literally not expecting her to say yeah.
Yeah.
Like she jumped on it, like no, yeah, like that'd be awesome. I'm like, oh, for real? Because it was more of a just, you should make some. That sounds good. Because I don't know what we're watching. I just seen food and it reminded me of it.
Yeah. And
so we're like, all right, fuck it. And so we get ready, and she's like, oh, let's get ready. And then I forgot. Elena, so this is going to tie into some communications. I'll finish the story.
Sure.
So Elena had let me know about a sleepover she was going to have because it was like someone's birthday. I think it was Lily's, but I don't know. Anyway, they went to like a skating rink. And I forgot. I did spaced out on it, so I didn't tell Alicia. And then obviously her grades weren't too hot. And so we had that, that conversation like, hey, this is the last time, like, after this, like your grades need to stay up or you're not going to have the fun.
Right.
So there was that communication failure right there with me and, the wife, which, we talked about. I hear what you're saying.
No, this is between you and Alicia.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I get it. And yeah, she does because it's not fair to our other daughter who we take her phone away when her grades are bad,
So you're saying that she did not want Elena to go.
Not really, but she, it was already past the point,
right?
Because Power School wasn't updated for me, so the grades weren't there.
Too late.
And then and then I was just like, whatever. And so there's communication. That's one part of this story. And then later on in that day, I actually found out that missed the father-daughter ball.
Yeah,
like a big loser.
Well, at least
I bought my ticket.
We didn't even talk about it, so I rely on you to even know about it.
I know Blanca sent something.
Did she?
In a group message.
Oh. Well, about you know me and messages.
And I was like, oh, and I think it was a Facebook message.
Oh, and
I don't remember.
Hardly ever on Facebook.
And I was like, okay. And so I think the next day I bought a ticket. And this was 3 weeks ago.
She didn't
I don't
say
know.
a word in person to me.
Well, I had forgot about it. Even the ticket came in. And then I was like, cool, and I'm thinking it was next week.
Yeah.
And then Alicia, when we got home, she's like, so the father-daughter ball. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, yeah, that's today. I'm like, what? No, it isn't. Like, for reals? I think isn't it next week?
Yeah.
She's like, no. And sure enough, 1 to 4. She told me she saw this. I'm not blaming her for this. She said something and I saw the time. It was like 1:30. I'm like, wow. It's too late now.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, so during our process of getting back to the story, we get the food. Then we're like, let's go to Goodwill Outlet, right? So we go to Goodwill Outlet, and we're, it's fucking. If you've never been to Goodwill Outlet, it is bananas sometimes.
I'll bet.
And dirty as fuck.
That's true.
Yeah, you need to wash your hands a few times.
COVID was born in the Goodwill Outlet.
Okay, so I needed to use the restroom, and it used to be a code. For whatever reason, that it's not a thing anymore to get into the bathroom. And so they have a key, and then they have it hooked to the biggest piece of wood that you can.
Right.
So I'm dragging this key like I'm Jesus carrying the cross across Goodwill.
Yeah.
Right. And anyway, I go to the bathroom. I go to give the lady back the key. She's like, I'm not touching that. You can put it right there. I'm not touching. Like,
oh, that's polite. Do you see where you work? You're standing in that.
Yeah, but she's like, I'm not going to touch that. You can put it right there. I'm like, okay.
That's polite.
Yeah. I was like, wow.
Like snarky and everything.
Oh, yeah. Like real bitchy.
You like, think I want to touch your piss hands?
Do you think I want to touch this shit too? No, I don't.
Yeah.
Fix your fucking door.
Yeah. Your door.
Give me code 1 2 3 4.
Gross.
I know. But anyway, we're there, and then the kids' dad. Mm-hmm. He lives in Yakima, which is a good hour from here. Mm-hmm. Or Moxie.
So Alicia's ex.
Alicia's ex is there with his wife now and kids, and we're like, oh, what's up? Say hi and stuff. And me and Leo, we talk about the Niners for a little bit because he's a Niner fan too. Anyway, Alicia, hey, later on, or no, we get home, we tell the girls because he's like, at first Alicia's like, that's kind of messed up. Like he's here in town, he needs to see his girls,
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, do you think he wouldn't,
Right.
She's like, well, I don't know. Like now, because he's seen us now, obviously there'll be that reach out.
Right.
And I like to think he would,
sure.
Hey girls, I'm over here. You guys want it?
We've talked about him. Yeah, he's a decent guy.
He's a good guy.
So.
Anyway, Alicia tells the girls like, oh yeah. Tell him to invite him and Joyce over. Mm-hmm. And so, it's one of those polite things. You don't expect it to happen. Right. And he texts Alicia, is like, so are you cool with us coming over? And Alicia's like, oh, yeah. She says, yeah, obviously. Yeah. And so then he comes over, right? So we were having dinner with me, my wife's ex, and his wife. So, and it wasn't weird. Yeah. It's not weird.
Right.
So we were all having, some birria and just talking and stuff, bullshit. And Alicia and her were drinking, and he was drinking. I was just like, no, I'm, he's like, hey, he went to give me a beer. I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm not drinking right now. He's like, oh, okay.
Hey, and good job to you too.
Nice. Yeah. I had to do that when I went to my buddy Efren's birthday last week. One of the guys was like, all right, come on, we're doing shots.
Yeah.
Jesse, come on in. And I was like, I'm good. He's like, wait, what? I'm like, no, I'm not drinking. Like, he goes like, ever? I'm like, well, not for a while. Right. I was like, I'm just, I got a goal in my mind, and I'm not drinking right now.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, man, cool, good for you. And he hugs me.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Very Nick. Cool. He's the one I got the trophy from. But they do the shots anyway. So everyone, they were drinking and stuff. But then later on that night, these guys came over.
I was going to say, I had a very similar night. I watched some TV with my wife's ex-husband.
Yeah. We watched that Nate Bargatze.
Yeah. Oh, he's funny.
But I'm just letting you guys know, like, this is our life. Like I don't have dinner with Leo and stuff ever, really. Like, he's come over for like the girls' birthday parties and stuff, which, and I get it because obviously he's hours, but he, when we left, we hugged, like, hey, drive safe. Like, he's like, yeah, man, we gotta, you guys are ever in town, just come on over, because I'm always doing fire pits, and like, I'm like, all right, not that we ever go to Yakima, but there's that offer there.
That's the thing, is like, if you kind of allow that relationship to happen, it can.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be best friends, but you can be cordial.
Yeah. And like, we were cool. It's like, I wouldn't not hang out with the guy, even if I didn't know that he was Alicia's ex or whatever, and I had worked with him, I'd probably hang out with the guy, like go every once in a great while. So it's, I don't know. And like the relationships, like, I know divorce can be messy.
Sure. Yeah.
And any breakups in general, not necessarily divorce. Those things can be messy.
Right.
And if you got like kids involved, it's even tougher a lot of times because, the woman or the man is using that against you. They're fucking after you. So like, I don't know. I just see the way we all are. Yeah. And it just, how we're able to make it work somehow.
If there's a scenario where it worked on both sides, where you can have some, a relationship, whatever, you want to define that as, with Alicia's ex-husband, you and I obviously have a very healthy friendship, and shouldn't, by conventional standards. If that can happen twice in one scenario,
I'm just saying
there's something happening there. There's some effort. There's a way to do it.
You got to be adults. You're right, though. Because and I've mentioned this before, and I'll mention again, but him and I, we didn't have like that, and he was also that way. Like he was like,
yeah,
he was very standoffish for a while there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because for him, you know, he didn't grow up like that. I didn't grow up like that either. But like for him, it's just like, no, that's weird. I'm not trying to be friends or, you know, be with my baby, you know, my baby's mama's man or something. You know, like no. Right. But you know, I think he grew up. I grew up. Not that I was like ever holding harbor feeling, because I had nothing towards him.
Right.
But you know, if you're open-minded and you just allow it to happen, things can happen. You, like Tom said, you don't have to be like, oh, we're gonna be besties,
right? Well, I think
you can be happy.
It's kind of like steps of the relationship. Yeah. Like when you first split, if either side has feelings, like unresolved romantic feelings, that's what has to be settled first, because you're not going to be able to move forward if there's like romantic feelings involved.
Yeah, on either side.
So once that is settled, like I don't think I'd encourage people to try it if there was a romantic feeling left, because honestly,
that's true.
That would make it really hard.
Well, because you don't want to see him.
Well, how can you be friends if the guy's actively going after?
Oh, I couldn't.
Your girl.
There was a period where I thought that's how Leo was.
Right. Because it messes with your head. Anybody.
Oh yeah,
if you care.
Right. You know, like stupid shit. Like, and at least he would tell me, not like I'm not a jealous person per se, but like I would get angry, like not like at her. I would just it would just piss me off.
Right.
Like he sent her, and then now when I look back at it, you know, that's also my insecurities.
Sure.
We're settling in, but he sent. It was like a penis. It wasn't a real penis. It was like a penis cake or something. Mm-hmm. I'm like, why is he fucking sending you shit like that?
Right.
But she was also going to like a bachelorette party.
But
there was some, for me, I felt very like that's inappropriate. Like he shouldn't send you shit like that. And I was mad, and I was saying that like he shouldn't be sending you shit like that. Why?
Right.
Like Blanca don't send me crazy shit.
Right.
You know, like look at this vagina cake.
Look at these vagina chips.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No,
I still haven't got her to eat
and
one.
That's the
Alicia.
That's the respect piece of it, is like it, you know, like any friendship, you have to feel that person has your back, and if they feel that they want your spouse or your partner, then that's obviously not
okay.
So that has to be settled first.
Yes,
and you can't pretend that. You actually have to get. I think what worked for us is you had found somebody that you cared about.
Yeah, and I wasn't trying to like get back with Blanca.
By the time this whole thing started, fortunately, everything was sort of resolved.
Yeah.
And everyone was able to move forward without anything.
And I think what worked for like at least her and I is like we both had this mutual understanding that we loved each other. You know, obviously we had a kid together and stuff, but we didn't like, we weren't like we weren't in love, but we also just didn't have that attraction. Not, you know, like not that there's an attraction, but it's just, you know what I mean? You didn't have that like energy. Like whereas like you and her have that energy,
which would be harder if you knew that, you know, if you naturally had that, and every time you're in a room together you felt that, it would be exactly a lot harder. So
I think for us, we had that mutual understanding that that's not us, and so there was never that like let's get back together,
right?
Or, you know, there was probably talk at one point right after, but there was never like
normal.
It's normal. Yeah.
Right.
But there was never like that. It didn't draw on where it's just like, no, I want you. You know,
in and the out, the back and the forth.
And I'm not saying Leo was that way, but I think he still, you know, he still had feelings. He still had feelings. Right. You know, him and Alicia they went through a lot as a couple, so obviously, there was that feeling there.
Right.
Now, did it take him time to get over that? Could have, whatever. But like he started coming around, and you know, like now everything's
right. You stayed open to it.
I was always open to it.
Once he came around, you were fine with it, and so now it can move forward. And that's kind of the thing, is like this type of scenario isn't an overnight. It's not like you just get into a brand new relationship and decide
it took years for him.
He and I are going to be cool. Everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. Well, like, see, it's
it's going to take.
It's like with working out. It's going to take time.
Yeah, right.
Like
build a foundation.
Years. Like me and him, that took years to get to where we're at now.
Right.
Like you and I obviously hit it off a little quicker.
Sure. But it wasn't immediate.
It wasn't.
It took time to find out that there was.
We had to feel each other out.
Yeah.
Who is this guy?
I don't trust him.
I had to make sure he was going to be in the life for a minute.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like there's definitely a period of time where you got to let every bit of dust settle and everything be what it is. And then, but it should be a goal. Society should want all partners to kind of whatever you want to call it.
If you can coexist, you don't, and I'm not necessarily saying you have to be friends.
You don't have to be best friends. No.
But hey,
you should be able to be in a room together without making it hard on the kids.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. It's like, I mean, the kids is where you really need to focus. Like, okay, this isn't about us.
Right.
This is about our daughter, our son. Like, let's just focus on that.
Right.
Because how do you think the kids feel?
Well, and what do they learn?
Because the kids can read energy.
Oh yeah,
easily. They can feel that stuff. They can see if there's an awkwardness or whatever. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
And like you said, what are they gonna learn?
They're gonna repeat. But we just download crap into our kids, and so they're gonna see that and be like, "That's how relationships work. You get a divorce and then you argue all the time."
Yeah, and talk shit.
They may not think they may think, yeah, you live happily ever after, but the only example they've been given is
what they see.
Real life hits, you fight, you divorce, and you fight all the time.
Yeah, like me, I grew up with the stepdad here and there. Not that my mom was like slutting around with all these stepdads, but anyway, I had a stepdad. Like I had Steph, brothers, sisters. I had stepbrothers and sisters and stuff, and so like for me to be like a step parent, I wasn't as I first I wasn't open to it, but then obviously when I met Alicia, like I didn't care.
Sure, but you found the right person, and then
and so like being like I had seen that how my mom was with kids. My mom was good to her kids that were her stepkids, and so like I had that good example to see that.
Sure.
So I used that the relationship with her, her ex or whatever, that was not good. So I used that the other way.
Well, that's the thing. And some people, like my dad, was kind of the same way. He learned from what he didn't have, what he didn't want to put his kids through. So, there is definitely a lens. Unfortunately, a lot of people get caught in the cycle of like the victim cycle, where then they end up angry because of the victimization, and then they perpetuate the same thing.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
That's difficult.
And then that cycle just keeps going.
Right. You gotta break this cycle. And
I never understood what that meant until, I don't know, not that long ago, to be honest. Like I understood it. I'm not an idiot, but like to understand it, you have to kind of go through the shit. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To break that cycle. And so that's one of those things where, you got to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I was like, okay. I think for me, it was probably like relationship stuff.
Right.
Like there was a cycle that my mom was in, and like I seen like all her relationships she ever was in they were shit. You know what I mean? And so I wanted to do the opposite of that, break that cycle. And then obviously my kids can see that even if things don't work, things can work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I saw my parents, they had a healthy relationship, and I'm like, I need to break this cycle. So I've been the crappiest husband.
I need to get divorced a few times.
No, I'm just kidding. We got to break that
Look at this cycle. They're having a great relationship.
I was taught that you break the cycle. So
yeah, my cycle is
no, it's
I'm gonna be a swinger, and you find out your parents were swingers. You're like, whoa,
hang on.
What kind of news? Could you handle news like that?
Nope.
If you found that out,
not even a little bit. I'd be so grossed out. I'd be like, no, you guys don't even like each other.
And then be like, what? We're swingers.
We have something we have to tell you. You must know this as a human. So we like to have sex with other people too.
You guys could have kept that yourself forever.
Thanks for letting me know. I'm not sure why you felt I needed to know that, but thank you for your honesty.
Because you're going to have another mom.
Yeah, because accidentally someone's pregnant, you're going to have a brother or sister.
How crazy.
Oh, that's really gross. Didn't you have a vasectomy? I did.
Can you imagine?
Your mom's pregnant. Oh.
I would be awful. If to have a kid at such a late age, like for me, if I
Oh man!
Somehow got Alicia pregnant because her tubes are tied, but like somehow if the little
God
fishy jumped the bridge, the gap there. I mean, obviously I gotta, you gotta take it, but also it's like, God, dude, I'm 43.
Right.
Right. Oh, I'm 42, but I'll be 43.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Either way, it's a hefty time to find out that you're going to have to do it all over again. You do kind of get to this point where that phase is over.
Yeah.
And it's like the idea of going back to that would be like getting sentenced to prison again.
It would.
Just like, I think I'm done with that.
Well, Alicia will be like, someone had like, when we went out last week, or one of her coworkers brought their little 7-month-old, cute little baby boy, a little chunky guy, and Alicia's like, I want another one. I'm like, no.
What is it that causes that? Because Blanca will do the same crap and like
because babies are cute and
they're not that cute. I mean, they're
it's not even my baby.
They're not ugly, but
yeah, because the babies, they're just there's a stage. I think for moms, they see like you remember you see your babies,
right?
They're always your babies. For moms, it's always they're my baby. Right. But when you see a baby, it brings them back, I think, to that time when their kids are little. And I miss that.
Right. It's a mental illness that we just frankly don't talk about enough.
It really is.
I'm just like, she's like, I want a baby. I'm like, you hated being pregnant. You were the worst pregnant person ever. I don't want to go through that again. She laughs. I'm like, I'm not kidding.
Like, no.
Don't ever.
No, Alicia was cool, but it was like, I don't want another baby. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, why am I gonna lie about that? Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Like waking up in the middle of the night, I hate it.
I hate it now.
I hate it. Like getting up to pee pisses me off.
Pisses you off?
See the wordplay.
Look at him, rapper, comedian.
Yeah, getting.
Well, even not only rappers do, like music in general.
Rapping people, like poem people.
I like
so
poems.
Many people can do it. Not me though. I try to. Yeah, if I ever tried to make a rap, it would be like I told you. It'd be like the most childish. I'd just be pulling random rhyming words out.
As much as I've listened to rap in my life, I would be a terrible rapper. Like I'm probably because I'm not a good reader.
I'm not a good thinker.
I'm not a good arithmetic writing person.
I have a brain where I'm not a good learning person.
I don't learn in well.
I have a brain where it's like Jeopardy will be on, and it could be a subject I know a lot about, and they'll ask any question, and my mind just goes blank, and I can feel like mental arms reaching for any idea.
Yeah.
And it just never comes. So
anytime I hear a Jeopardy question I don't know, which is a lot of them,
right?
I'm like, false.
I hate these people.
What is false?
Yeah. What is? Damn it! I got it wrong.
He's like, no, it's World War III, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah,
that's what I meant. No, true.
Adolf Blank started World War II.
True.
That's
my answer.
Schmeitzel. I don't know. But there are people that know everything about everything. They're so cocky about it.
So one of my ex-girlfriend from high school, her mom, to this day, to me, best Jeopardy person I knew.
Yeah.
Right? When I'd go over to her house, Jeopardy would be on, and sure enough, you would hear her mom. What is
by herself rambling on?
Yeah. What is the third trimester? Something stupid. I don't know. Something just like what the hell? Who was the king of
17th century literature?
Yeah, something
French Revolutionary
just
history,
everything. She just knew
neuroscience. Yeah.
It's like, what is Alfred Hitchcock? Yeah, you know he built a lamp, did you?
Right.
Or something stupid.
Yeah, no, he built a lamp.
Like, holy shit, you know everything.
He was the best lamp builder in history, I think.
And then he got into film
ever. And then that's what he was really known for was
lighting.
Yeah, George Washington, actually dairy farmer. He made the best milk.
He was a good, and he churned the best butter.
Do you know why he became the first president?
That's why you see, like on Country Crock, it's George Washington.
It's George Washington, yeah. Same thing with Quaker Oats. That's Thomas Jefferson. He's the Quaker oat man. He was the best oat maker in all the land.
The best oat maker. He was so good.
He invented oatmeal. Thomas Jefferson invented
Fun
oatmeal.
fact.
Yeah.
So when Jeopardy comes on, just remember that.
I'm going to go on Jeopardy and lie so convincingly that they're like, we have to check that. I think that could be
No, that's accurate. Fucking 100% true.
Yeah, what
Google
is
it.
Alien spyware?
Right.
Look it up.
No, I don't know.
Yeah. Who's the president of France? Dell Computers. What is Dell Computers? Who are Dell Computers?
Yeah.
Do you have to say the correct form?
You do.
Who is?
So me and Alicia had this conversation. We were watching. We like Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. Another game I can't play.
Another game I suck at.
Yeah. Great speller, awful at Wheel of Fortune.
So the answer was completely there. There was no letters left.
Right. Like the entire thing was filled in, but nobody could read it.
I got to solve it.
Oh my God, I saw that one.
And he said the word wrong. Yeah. I forget what the word was.
Yeah, it was, oh man, on the tip of my tongue. See, this is why I can't do it.
Yeah.
This is exactly what happens to me.
I don't have my phone's right
here.
Yeah,
but he just mispronounced the word.
Yeah,
he mispronounced the word, but it was just like, man, come on. Like, you're on Wheel of Fortune.
You should be able to read.
Up.
Because I could read that.
Right. It was like essentially something like, who is Dr. Sus? And they're like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like it would be that level of.
Yeah, I sent it to Alicia because we were having this conversation, and she's like, do you think they can get in trouble for that? And
no.
Do you think if they don't say it right, will that be wrong? Like,
right.
And I'm like, no, I think they have to say. I go, there was a guy that said something and it was wrong,
right?
And he didn't get it.
Wasn't it a book title?
I don't know. I sent Alicia he said what? Oh, here it is.
This is the most important part of our whole day.
Oh, Achilles.
Oh, well, who is Achilles?
Yeah, like he literally.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Here we go.
That'd be a good idea, yeah.
Mythological hero Achilles. Ooh, I'm sorry. I love the way he says it.
Mythological hero Achilles. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, you idiot.
Hey, at least the guy paid attention in reading class. He's like, no, that should be a ch sound. So,
yeah.
Man, I tell you, yeah, I've had it where the screen, it was like 2 letters missing, and still I'm like, God, not ringing any bells.
What is vagina?
Yeah, what is?
No, it's vagina.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Nope, machina. It was machina.
Yeah, it was machete.
But
yeah, I don't know. That's all I got. We'll just end like that.
Yeah.
What is Achilles?
We basically suck at all games, and
a mythological creature. Achilles.
Just remember, if you see Achilles, it's Achilles, not Achilles. Achilles. He made it a long A.
Yeah.
Achilles. I'm gonna actually petition to get that changed to Achilles, and let's see what we.
Gotta love the English language. It's so fucking dumb.
It is quite complicated.
It is.
Yeah.
I hear it's the most complicated like language to learn is English.
And being an American, I'm not doing any extra research on that. I'm just gonna believe it.
No, I'm pretty sure they said like English is one of the hardest languages to learn.
I've heard that a lot.
Stupid.
We just have a lot of rules.
Oh, gnat. No, it's gnat.
I always say
is silent.
Well, right. And there's no reason for it. It's just
knife.
You just do it. But sometimes you don't do some of these things. I always tell my kids, like, I like that quote from Pirates of the Caribbean. They're more like guidelines than rules. Like,
yeah.
Because half the time you're like, this is the rule. This is what you do, except for this word. This word you have to just memorize because it doesn't follow any of the rules.
Yeah.
Like, it makes no sense at all. So, like, we were teaching the word could, We already have an sound. We have 2 like ways to spell We have OO and OU. But in could, we throw in an L. Why? We forgot.
Because we could.
We're just like, oh, let's put an L in there. That looks better. Like, I don't know. I think it's, we have like root words or base words, and they come from a couple different languages.
It's cooled.
Yeah. So the kids are like, cold. I'm cold in the water. Like, no, I taught you over and over again.
It's not.
It's not cold. But anyway, I don't know. It's difficult. If you know English, you're pretty much a brilliant person. You're a genius. You're like Einstein.
If you know 2 languages, you're even more smarter. You're even more smarter than me.
Than that. So, no. Anyway, well,
we'll leave it on that.
Yeah.
Learn your English.
Thanks, guys, for being with us today.
Yeah.
This Sunday morning.
Fun journey on a Sunday.
Yeah. And have a great week.